for November 29th will come to order, please. City Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Abraham?
Present.
Commissioner Galt?
Present.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Mayor Kaler?
Present. Commissioner Abraham, if you'll do the invocation tonight, and I'd like for us to all especially remember all the folks that live in the Gatlinburg, Tennessee area and the tragedy that they're going through right now. And if Commissioner Galt will do our pledge.
Our Father which art in heaven, we thank you so much for today. Father, we ask that you those folks in Gatlinburg and around that whole area. Well, a lot of us have visited there on vacations, and what a beautiful place it is. But tonight they are under severe fires. So we ask you to protect those that live there, those that are visiting, those businesses that are being impacted by the fire. Father, we hold them up to you. We pray that that there's no loss of life. These things we ask in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to its republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, tonight we have a presentation, City Hall nomination to the National Register of Historic Places. Melinda Winchester has that for us. Thank you. It's exciting.
Blank. Oh, I see it. Do we want to just turn those front lights off a little? Just yeah, right there. Then you can see it just a little bit better. First of all, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to be able to prepare this nomination. Under the City of Paducah zoning ordinance, section 126, 115F3A, as a certified local government program, each proposed nomination to the National Register of Historic Places must be presented to the HARC Board, which was done on November 14th. Recommendations were taken at that time, and comments from the public during a City Commission meeting shall also be included in those recommendations to the National Register. So this presentation tonight will fulfill that requirement. These comments and recommendations will then be sent to the Kentucky Heritage Council by December 12th, which is the date that I will be presenting it to the State Commission. So. I know sometimes it is difficult for people to understand the significance of modern architecture and how it can be historically significant, and certainly not all modern architecture can have that claim. So I'm in hopes that by creating this application for our building here, that we'll be able to create a new awareness for why our building is significant, and by telling the story and how it came to fruition and the elaboration of that. Okay, so switch, that's okay. Okay. Designed in 1963 and completed in 1965, the Paducah City Hall meets the registration requirements under the National Register of Historic Places with Criterion C, which is the area of architecture. The area proposed for listing is less than 1 acre, and it includes one contributing building, which is our City Hall, and one non-contributing site, which is the Dolly McNutt Plaza. The plaza is being incorporated into the boundary because it reinforces City Hall's original design, although it was not built until 1970. The 50-year rule will be followed so that the plaza's contribution can easily be realized once it meets this threshold. And I included this aerial photo because I thought it was very interesting that you can see how the symmetry of the sidewalks from the City Hall plot lines up perfectly with Dolly McNutt. So when Dolly McNutt was designed, Stone's original plan was followed. So it really shows that intent. The political story of Paducah's modern City Hall is one of perseverance of 3 separate city administrations. Mayor Cherry, Mayor Jacobs, and Mayor Wilson. Each played an important role in the final outcome. In the early 1950s, Mayor Cherry began to lay out the foundational groundwork for a new City Hall building, which was identified as a need in the first Paducah Interim General Plan of 1951. These early steps, along with the help of Robert Overstreet, who was the executive director of the local Urban Renewal and Community Development Agency, were critical in Paducah securing these federal funds in the 1960s. Both Mayor Cherry and Mayor Jacobs' administrations met heated resistance from the citizens and downtown merchants, primarily due to funding and site selection. But ultimately, both the city and the people prevailed with an urban renewal program for both future growth and a key location for their new city hall to allow downtown to continue to play a role in the economic growth of the city. In the late 1950s and the early 1960s, Paducah was experiencing economic pains due to a significant loss in industry. Leadership here followed the lead of cities across the nation in rebuilding, rebranding, and revitalizing their image by using federal urban renewal funds and architecture to shape their cities and to attract new industry. A group of citizens, including Tom Wilson, reached out to prominent American City magazine to obtain a list of progressive architects at the time to build our new modern City Hall. This resulted in the pursuit of Edward Durrell Stone, and this is the cover of American City magazine from 1956. They did a story on our new City Hall. That's the atrium, and that is Mayor Wilson standing in that photograph. The Paducah City Hall is part of a unique and prolific collection of works by internationally known architect Edward Durrell Stone of New York and local consultant architect Lee Potter Smith. It epitomizes the new formalism design in the city of Paducah, and it plays a part in the story of a world-famous architect who is continuing to defy the methods of traditional modernism and its principles. In 1957, Time magazine proclaimed Edward Durrell Stone was a pioneer modernist, undoubtedly the profession's freest spirit, and by general consensus, the most versatile designer of his generation. I'm going to show you just a few of his more prominent buildings that you all should probably recognize. This is the General Motors building in New York City, the National Geographic Museum in Washington, D.C., the Stanford University Medical Center in California, the Kennedy Center of the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C., the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts in New York City, Radio City Music Hall, Rockefeller Center, New York City, and Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri, which was demolished in 2005. It was a sad day. Stone has been considered the founder of the movement of New Formalism with this pioneer design of the New Delhi Embassy in 1953. He was given architectural freedom on this commission, and he took the opportunity to create a culmination of the characteristics that he deemed relevant to basic principles of planning. He also used attributes that he considered necessary amenities such as symmetry, columned porticos, connecting plazas, gardens, and water features. Elements from this pioneer design became a part of Stone's next era of architectural endeavors, falling into that category of New Formalism. Although Paducah City Hall was the first of Stone's works in Kentucky, many more notable commissions followed. This one is University of Kentucky's Kerwin-Blanding Dormitory in Lexington. This is the Civic Center Arena in the State Office Building in Frankfort, and I just found out that I believe the tower is coming down to the right. And this is the Lake Barkley State Park Lodge in Cadiz, Kentucky, and Lee Potter Smith was also an associate architect on this project with Stone. Stone's influence can also be found in Paducah at 2626 Broadway with the Crowns Building. The lead architect on this was Lee Potter Smith, and it was constructed in 1965. Paducah City Hall building is an unprecedented local architectural modern monument, and it's a symbol of a mid-century progressive movement within our local government and our community. It retains integrity through workmanship, design, location, setting, and materials. The building is a distinct civic landmark and the most prominent new formalism design in the city and the region. And that's my presentation.
Wonderful presentation, Melinda.
Thank you.
And I know how accomplished you are in these areas, so I feel very optimistic that we will get the historic tax credits for our city hall.
Yes, I am very optimistic of that too.
And so we will take comments now,
Yes.
okay? So we have Fowler Black here to make comments tonight.
Melinda, certainly in her element when it comes to tax credits and the process going through that. I just want to take a brief moment on behalf of Paducah McCracken County Growth, Inc. To heartily endorse the nomination of our City Hall to the National Register. As the citizens group that has advocated for this step for more than 2 years, we appreciate the city's willingness to rethink the issue in favor of a more measured approach to renovating this iconic piece of architecture. We also look forward to the use of tax credits associated with the renovation to help subsidize the cost. Thank you, Mayor Kaler and City Commissioners, for your thoughtful, progressive leadership on the issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to, Fowler's the only one that signed up, but would anyone else want to make a comment? Okay, Commissioners, do you have anything?
Ken, on Wikipedia, it does not list this building under Edward, that's what I was looking up. I'm not texting my family. I was looking up Edward Earl Stone, and it does not list City Hall on Wikipedia. Maybe, I mean, I don't know how you do that. I'm sure they're.
I mean, I'm sure we probably can get that listed.
Well, there you go. I'm sure there's some.
His biography that has us listed, so.
Good. Well, I'm just.
All right. And when are you going, Melinda?
December 12th.
12th, yes. All right, wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks, Melinda.
So Commissioner Abraham, you had the minutes tonight?
I have them. I move that the reading of the minutes for November 15th, 2016 City Commission meeting be waived, and that the minutes of said meetings prepared by the city clerk be approved as written.
Second?
City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Kaler.
Aye. Commissioner Galt, you have a motion?
I move that the notice of called meeting for 5:30 PM Tuesday, November 29th, 2016 be received and filed.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Kaler.
Aye. Under municipal orders, Commissioner Rhodes?
I move that a municipal order entitled, a municipal order assigning the name P.J. Grumley River Drive to the portion of the drive known as Foot of Broadway between Kentucky Avenue and Broadway Street be adopted.
Second?
City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Kaler.
Aye. You know, I wish I could remember the gentleman's name that emailed me and requested that we do that for Mr. Grumley. But if you're watching TV out there tonight, thank you.
Well, the family was very appreciative Friday at the ceremony. So.
It was a good thing to do. Okay, Commissioner Wilson, you have the first introduction.
City Manager Peterson has just told me that he would like to pull that from
Okay.
tonight's meeting.
All right,
Hope to bring it back to next meeting.
okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Abraham,
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, granting Comcast Cable Heartland Region, formerly known as Comcast of the South, LP, a franchise extension through April 11th, 2017. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The franchise agreement between the City of Paducah and Comcast Cable, Heartland Region, formerly known as Comcast of the South LP, is hereby amended by extending the term of the franchise from November 2nd, 2016 through and including April 11th, 2017.
Second.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, well, our franchise with Comcast, it's a non-exclusive franchise. It has expired. It expired November 1st, and so this is just an extension to add about 5.5 more months to our contract as we're going through our negotiations with Comcast.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Galt, do we have an executive session?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
for economic development.
Commissioner Galt?
I move that the board go into closed session for discussion of matters pertaining to the following topics. A specific proposal by a business entity where public discussion of the subject matter would jeopardize the location, retention, expansion, or upgrading of a business entity is permitted by KRS 61.8101G.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham,
Aye.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Kayler.
Aye. So we will not be coming back, so the meeting is adjourned, but I would just like to remind everybody that the Christmas parade is this weekend at 5:30, I believe.
5.
5. And it starts at, the starting point's the police department, like we usually do. So, do you want to say anything about it, Pam? Just a little bit about it. I'm really happy to have George Wilson. I asked him last year if he would be the Grand Marshal of the parade, and so his family's really excited. His mother, Wanda, works at Baptist Hospital, so.
And he is the parade grand marshal, and before the parade, we have the ugly Christmas sweater and socks fun run. He's planning to participate in that. And the cost to enter the fun run is $10 or the donation of a toy valued at $10, and it will go to his foundation, which has helped a lot of kids in the Paducah area as well. So, but the parade will start at 5 o'clock, starts at 14th and Broadway, and we'll go straight downtown to 2nd Street, make a left turn, and go toward the farmer's market. And usually have about 100 entries in the parade.
And then we'll have photos with Santa at the
Photos
end of the
with
parade. So it'll be a great time.
And earlier that day, you can make a whole day of it downtown. We have the candy cane hunt at 1 o'clock for kids at the Carson Center lawn, and that's sponsored by the Parks Department. I think there's 1,600 candy canes they'll be racing to collect as fast as they can.
Thank you. All right, meeting's adjourned.
Are you riding this year?